why God decided to send Jesus down at the time period that he
Yeah.
did.
Well, I mean, it says in the fullness of time, Galatians 4:4, God sent forth his son, born of a woman, born under the law. Now, anytime, if God had sent Jesus at any other time, you could still ask the same question. In other words, if he sent him now in the 20th century, someone could say, well, why didn't he come earlier? Or
Mhm.
let's say 2,000 years from now, someone could say, well, why didn't he come 2,000 years later? In other words, no matter what period of time Jesus came, you would still have the question, why then, not now? Or why not earlier? So
So true.
that's number one. Number two, the timing in which Jesus came in the first century, that timing was very conducive for the spreading of the gospel. I mean, today, the gospel would be spread more effective. When I say effectively, not that it was less effective back then. What I'm trying to say is, though with technology today, the gospel could reach the whole world. Jesus could appear on cameras. God could have done it now, but he chose then. But even at that time, the situation was such because of what's called the Pax Romana, the peace of Rome.
Okay.
When Rome conquered the world and brought in and consolidated all these peoples, there was also a systematic, how do I say this? I'm trying to look for the right terms. Rome also went about systematically building roads, connecting peoples and places, just like you have highways today. During that time, because of the peace of Rome, consolidating all these cities and peoples, they also systematically built roads to make travel easier. So that time was a good time for the gospel to spread much quicker, much faster than in previous generations.
Okay.
So that timing was a good time. I can't, when I say a good time, I don't want to say the best time. I want to say there could have been a better time. God's timing is perfect and flawless. He knows what I don't know. He knows when it would be the most apt time for Jesus to come. And in his wisdom, he decided then. Now that I see this is when Jesus was sent, then I can look at, oh, all right. Well, the timing in which Jesus came, during that time, you had the peace of Rome, and you also had this systematic infrastructure where the Roman Empire was going about building roads to connect places so that people could travel much faster and much more safely.